What's up, guys? I'm Luke. This is a Subaru Only show. We're here in my shop in Northern California. You got my GC behind me. It's a two-door coupe. But today's video ain't about the GC. Today's video is a tech video on upgrading your engine stand. Everybody's got one. Most of us have this Harbor Freight Special. This thing probably cost 80 bucks 5 or 6 years ago. And you know what? It's worked. It's functional. But there's a couple things that fucking suck. And today, I'm gonna break it down and we're gonna do some upgrades to this engine stand so that it no longer fucking sucks. Let's check it out, what I'm talking about in the shop. Bam, this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna replace the wheels on this engine stand. I'm gonna use this brass pipe as a bushing because the inner diameter wasn't quite correct. These are gonna be the rear two wheels. This is gonna be the front wheel. It's got a pivot on it. And that's gonna replace the three wheels that are on the thing. So that's what these are. Okay, the three wheels I'm replacing. Let's check these out. First of all, let's break this thing down. Let's get this thing put over. I already took off the little clip that was holding the wheel on. So this is the wheel I'm gonna replace. This is like a little 2-inch solid cast steel wheel. And the reason it sucks is because at my house, I have all these little cracks all over my yard. And I'm gonna try to work my way from my workshop over to my garage, or from my workshop over to my front driveway, and basically trying to push this engine stand with an engine on it. These little fucking wheels sucks. So I'm gonna replace these little metal cast wheels with those big ass rubber wheels that you see inside. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is pull this sucker apart. I try to do this on the video with like one hand right now. That's fun. All right, let's get these wheels off. I'll start with the front here. Basically, I've already loosened these to make it easier to show you guys on the video. So take these off. You get the other one here. Right, boom, boom, boom. Keep all your hardware together. All right, then I can remove that. Look at it. So this is the front one that came from Harbor Freight with that little cast wheel. And I'll show you what I'm gonna replace this with. I'm gonna replace that with this guy. Quite a bit bigger. Let me show them side to side so you can kind of see. So that's kind of the size difference. It's nearly twice the size. So that's the plan. Get this one on the front and get these two on the back. So speaking of the back, let's go back to the engine stand. Flipping the sucker over again. Okay, now I gotta take off both these rear cast steel wheels. Boom, I already removed the retaining clip, so that one's off. Throw that aside. Keep all the parts together. I gotta use needle nose pliers to get this retaining clip off. Take off the retaining washer. Take off that cast wheel. Boom. Those are two rear wheels. Okay, so basically got this sucker stripped down, right? Here you can see this engine stand, no wheels, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. So let's grab these two wheels. Kind of heavy. Boom. Let's grab this. Boom, and I'll show you what I mean about using this brass, pipe as a bushing. Okay, so we got this engine stand here. And I went to the hardware store, and these were the only tires. I think these are wheelbarrow tires, or wheels. These are the only ones that were wide enough diameter to fit over basically the axle pin right here, or the stud, or whatever you want to call it, that the wheel is going to go over. Alright, so it's a little floppy. It's got too much slop in it. And so you need to get a bushing on that sucker. But it's an odd size to get a bushing on that thing. I went to the hardware store and there was no bushing that was the exact right size. But what was the right size was this brass pipe. So basically, this brass pipe slips right over and ends up being the perfect outer diameter for the wheel and a perfect inner diameter for that little stud or little axle pin that's sticking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pipe down to the exact width that this wheel is and use this section of pipe as a bushing. Cool. Okay, so this pipe, right? It's the perfect outer diameter to go through these wheels, and it's perfect inner diameter to go over this little axle pin right there, right? So what's the length? Let me measure it basically. Okay. So we need to cut off two little sections that we use as bushings for these wheels. So I'm gonna put this in here. I'll grab a pen. I'm just gonna mark this sucker right there. That's fine. All right. All right, now I'll take that, line it up somewhere, hold it, clamp it down, whatever method you have. Use a hacksaw, basically. Oh, this is difficult with one hand. Okay, I use a hacksaw, cut the copper pipe, I cut two sections right here, boom. Here's the second one, right? Each one of these is gonna be used as a bushing. It's gonna go over these little studs, these little axles basically, on my engine stand. So that goes over like that, and then that will go over like that, and boom. And you can see how those little brass bushings take up the slop area in there, right? And then we'll put over the washer and the retaining clip. And the retaining clip. And I'll have to get my little tool to open this retaining clip and put it on. Okay, these are called snap ring pliers. These are the guys you need to open up these little snap rings. Basically, these have little tips in them, and they go in there, and you can basically open up these little snap rings like you see here, right? I'll go a little close up for you. Let's see if I can get a close up for you. See how that opens up those suckers? Get that guy in there, like that, and boom. Okay, so that snap ring's back on. There's a little bit of slop in here, so maybe I'll add a second washer to take up that slop. But basically, this wheel's on, and that'll work perfect. Awesome. I'll do the same thing to the other side next. And this other side down here. So let's flip this sucker over. Boom. Okay, this is the other rear side. Where's that brass little bushing? Boom. Let's put that sucker over. Let's see which side do I want to have on facing up. That doesn't really matter. And then where's the tire? The tire. Put that tire over that sucker. Boom. Okay, cool. Then the retaining washer. Right there. Boom. As you can see. And then where's that retaining clip? The last retaining clip. What did I do with it? Where's that sucker? No, no. Here it is. Alright. Alright, then we get that sucker in, you just open it up, slide it over. Alright, just double check that it's in the groove completely. And that guy's good to go. Alright, so I got both of the rear tires done. Awesome. Now I'll move on to the front. Let's flip the sucker up. Let's take a look at the progress. It's looking pretty dope. Just need to get that front sucker on and we will be off to the races. Okay, so for the fronts, let's go check that out in the shop. What we got for the fronts here? So basically, that's the new one. It's going in. That, flip it over so they look the same direction. That's the old one, right? The problem with the fronts, and these are gonna work perfect. Problem is the bolt pattern is not exactly the same. The bolt pattern of the original caster that came on it is a little bit different pattern as far as the spacing between the holes. So I basically have marked it out where I need to drill it, and I'm starting to drill out holes in this new one I've got. So basically that's what the next step is now. Drill these holes out to get the spacing right, and then bolt this new caster up to the engine stand. Okay, so I basically have the caster mounted in a little vise. I'm using a drill with a step bit on it. I'm going to open up those holes. the size needed for the bolts. Alright, well it ain't pretty, but I'm gonna see if this fits. I'm gonna mock it up and see if the bolts will actually go through all these holes. Alright, it wasn't all that pretty, but it definitely fit. All 4 bolts went through those holes. All I have to do now is tighten up these nuts, and this engine stand is gonna be done. I'm pretty stoked. Awesome. So here it is, a new engine stand with the big ass 8-inch rear rubber tires and a big 4 or 5-inch front tire. I think this thing's gonna work great to go over all these little cracks once I have my engines on it. So thanks for checking out the video.